All right, so today I'm here with my good friends Scott and Tara, and they're going to tell you everything you need to know about living in Southlake, all the good and the bad. And if you stick around till the end, they're going to share the #1 piece of advice that they would give when moving to the area. And we're getting after it right now. Hey ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time watching one of our videos, I want to welcome you to the community. If you want to know everything there is to know about the eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Dallas, Texas, well, this is the channel that helps you do that. So go ahead and subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so that you can be the first to learn about the latest market in Dallas, Texas. My name is Jimmy Webb Jr. and we get calls and emails every single day from people just like you, ready to make a move in Dallas, and we absolutely love it. So if you are looking to make a move, shoot us a text, give us a call, or send us an email, and we've got your back when making a smooth move to Dallas, Texas. But today, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm here with my good friends Scott and Tara, who have been residents in Southlake for the last 13 years. And have 4 beautiful young men that they are raising here, and they're going to tell you, we just wanted to get their perspective on what it's like to live in Southlake, what it's really like, all the good parts, the bad parts. That's what we're going to get into today. But guys, we're going to start with the good. And so I know you mentioned one of your favorite parts of Southlake are the schools.
We definitely moved here for the schools. The schools are amazing. You're going to get an excellent education for your kids if you move to Southlake. Our motto in Southlake is we expect excellence in all things, in athletics and academics. And there's just a really great camaraderie in the Southlake schools.
We're Dragon Strong. It's a small community, and we work hard, play hard, but there is an excellence that's expected in Southlake.
Yeah, what is the hashtag?
It's the Dragon motto. Every Friday night, people that are new here, they come and they're just blown away by everyone is dressed in dragon green and black, our colors, and the dragon symbol. And
I wore my green pants today for Southlake.
I see that. So everyone K through 12 is a dragon, and everyone's really supportive and involved. And our games for every sporting event, for theater, drama, band, arts. Everyone is out to support each other.
Love it. Yeah, I think so. That hashtag was expect excellence, right? So that's just kind of a cultural thing that I think kind of unifies everybody, not only in the classroom. Obviously, the schools are some of the top rated in Texas. You'll always see them on the top list, top 5 list, top 10, things like that. Elementary schools all the way up to the one high school. There are 5 elementary schools,
Correct.
4 middle schools, and just the one major high school, Southlake Carroll, population of 32,000, so it's a small kind of feel there, but the schools are one of the top draws, of course. And so the next thing that you guys mentioned was how it's a master planned city, and they have benchmarks that they want to hit. Talk about that.
Okay, so throughout Southlake's history of storied mayors, there's a 10-year plan for each year, starting with the 1990s. So in 2000, there's a benchmark, 2010, 2020, 2030. And basically our town square, which is the hallmark, the center of our town, that has great shopping and eating, entertainment, that is part of our master plan, part of our community. And our community really rallies around that. That's where we have our homecoming parades. So basically it ensures that there's enough green space, a lot of parks, there's no apartments. It really keeps it's really a high socioeconomic group that moves here.
And it's also low density. So the average lot size in Southlake is just under an acre. So there are a lot of areas like the area we live in where the lot sizes are an acre and a half, 2 acres. You don't see that a lot around the Metroplex generally.
Yeah, it was a cool drive. I saw the cows, the longhorns.
And we've got deer, turkeys. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you talked about the town center there. You mentioned as well that you've got access to everything here in Southlake. You call it the bubble. You don't really leave. Talk about that.
No, so once you move here, and people kind of joke about it, but once you move to Southlake, it's just really easy to stay in the bubble because literally everything is right here. And so even going to like the neighboring town, it's like, oh, I don't want to leave the bubble. You have everything right at your fingertips. Another main draw of living in Southlake for a lot of people is that it's really close to the airport, and then the spectacular schools. What do you think?
Yeah, access to the airport's a big deal
draw.
for us.
So, and I mean, shopping, restaurants, like you guys.
Amazing restaurants, amazing shopping. I mean, anything that you need, you do not have to leave the bubble. It's all right here.
Yeah. So you guys have a favorite restaurant?
Oh, that's tough.
Love our Mexican food. So
We do.
you have Ana Mia's, you have Gloria's.
Herencia,
Yeah.
Mi Cocina.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Probably Gloria's.
Yeah. The Tex-Mex is, for those of you who don't know, Tex-Mex is a big deal.
There's a strong
Best food in the
Tex-Mex
world.
game.
Exactly. So, all right. So another thing that you mentioned were just the strong sports culture that they have here in Southlake. I know you've got 4 boys. You were joking just before this about they're going to be football stars and tennis stars.
So football is king in Texas, and no doubt in Southlake, it definitely reigns supreme. I mean, especially in Southlake. Our coach Riley Dodge, he was the quarterback here under his dad Todd Dodge in the early 2000s, and they won a bunch of state championships. So that's we have a lot of state championships under our belt, and not just in football, in every sport imaginable, and other events such as theater, band, all of the performing arts. It's just there's so many kids that start their specific niche sport or whatever it may be so young, and so by the time they get to high school, they're so amazing at whatever it is. Expect excellence. So you see a lot of that in Southlake.
Yeah, we have a strong athlete in our oldest, and it's amazing the parents and coaches how they offer to help us get the kids to practices.
Especially with 4.
With 4 kids, they understand us, and it really is a really nice community feel, and I think we stick together pretty well.
Definitely.
Help each other out.
And there's a strong market for like those private lessons. I mean, you talked about that a little bit, where that's kind of the norm.
It is. It's quite unusual, but it's not. It's very often that you'll find, a kid for any sport, being coached by a former MLB or a former NFL, or a parent who played something professionally that lives here. There's a big draw with the schools, with the sports. You get a lot of retired pro players that settle here in Southlake.
Speaking of, I know DeMarcus Ware just opened up his fitness center. I guess it's called Volt. Shout out, I guess, to DeMarcus Ware, but that's in Trophy Club.
Yes.
Not exactly south, but
It's close.
right now. I mean, what are we talking? 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes over there.
7.
But,
It's called 3 Volt
7.
Fitness. It's super popular. They offer like 3 different options, like a HIIT, a yoga, and maybe a weight. I'm not sure, but it's really popular.
Yeah, a ton of strong athletes coming from Southlake. A couple guys in the NFL and things like that. So yeah, very strong sports culture.
Any boutique fitness thing that you could possibly want is here in town. There's anything fitness related for men, women, kids, you can find it here.
You just went to one this morning, didn't you?
I did.
What did you do?
I did yoga sculpt.
There you go. Very good. Okay. So next, let's talk about the job kind of scene here. You got a ton of corporations moving, some headquarters. I know Charles Schwab is doing some big stuff over here. You guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
Well, yeah, a lot of headquarters, national headquarters, are moving to the area. You've got Toyota national headquarters, up the road from us. But a lot of those people are moving to Southlake for the schools and for the community. So we're getting a lot of that.
So we're right next to Westlake, and that's a big hub for corporate headquarters. You have Charles Schwab, TD Ameritrade, Fidelity, and they have actual campuses. And so a lot of their executives moved. They're looking for, a nice place to raise their children, really strong schools, and you meet a lot of people that are moving here from those companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it was Ross Perot had owned some land out there, and now he's selling some of that to bring in some of those corporations. And yeah, I mean the draw of the schools and just the general, it's a great.
It's definitely a unique area in that it still retains its small town feel, which I don't think is very common as in the modern world.
Yeah, I think that's a great segue to the next thing that we wanted to talk about but there's a pro and a con to being a small town, right? So, like you said, helping you guys out with carpooling the kids around and everything. But yeah, talk about the pro maybe first of having that small town feel, and then we'll get into the cons a little bit.
Okay, so we just recently had the worst winter storm in over 100 years. And everyone I think was impacted by it to some extent. We lost water, homes lost power, and in that time you saw neighbors from every background possible helping neighbors with food, water, electricity, meals, candles, and really just everyone pitched in and helped each other, whether it was clearing a driveway. At the same time, because it's a small town, everyone kind of knows everyone and everyone's business, and you have to basically just decide what's right for your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's well said.
Nothing left on that?
Not much to add.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you guys kind of get it. You guys are good friends with your neighbors and everything around here, right?
We are.
Yeah, we are. Recently a neighbor, her husband passed away, and so it was amazing to see, all of the community coming together and making sure that she was taken care of, and it's nice to feel like you're a part of something like that too. I mean,
yeah.
if you're on the receiving end, it's great, but on the giving end, it's nice too.
Both sides for sure. Okay, well, let's talk about the next con, which is having that one high school. That's where everybody's going in the morning, so the traffic around the Southlake Carroll High School can get kind of crazy. I know that one intersection we spoke about.
It's kind of the notorious Peytonville in 1709. It's a left arrow turning green to go to the senior high, and the traffic can get pretty bad there. Hopefully, with all of the growth of our town, that light changes very soon.
Not to jump back into a positive, but our schools are structured so that it's every 2 years. So fifth, sixth is a school, 7th, 8th is a school, 9th, 10th is a school, and 11th and 12th is the senior high. So we have a high school and a senior high. So that does split up some of the traffic that we're saying is a con, but it is. It's one high school for the whole community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a silver lining there. It doesn't have to be all bad. Right?
All right.
So so let's. You mentioned kind of the cost of living here in Southlake. You got to bring your checkbook if you're coming here. But there's also the Southlake upcharge, which is a thing that vendors know about, and so you want to talk.
It definitely is. So whether you need a plumber or an electrician, a lot of Southlake residents, when you give your zip code or your city's name, it's like, oh, okay. I feel like there's definitely a Southlake upcharge with certain things. When you need it, especially. So.
Gotcha.
Well, a con might be the air traffic.
That's true.
In certain areas. We are so close to the airport, and so you do get the overhead noise.
We don't really notice it anymore. I do now.
I feel like you get used to it.
You do. You really do. Even I think our kids are used to it.
Yeah. And it'll be months on and months off where they maybe it's wind or flight patterns.
Gotcha.
Change.
That's it. I never would have thought about the wind patterns being a. Yeah.
We are so close to the airport, though. We do have that.
Yeah. And so, getting back just a little bit into the cost of living, the median home price here is going for around $675,000, and the median home income or household income rather is around $240,000. So just to give you an idea of who's living here and what things are going for. But the next con that we were talking about is it's kind of cutthroat as far as competitive competitiveness goes in all assets a little bit.
It is. It's not for every kid to live here, but you know, there were 100 boys that tried out for the Dragon baseball team last year, and it's a cut sport. So 30 kids made it for varsity and JV, and 70 were cut. And we're talking 100 boys. Man. So, you know, a kid in Southlake may not make a team, whereas in a different city they would, you know, be the star player. But there's just so many kids who are so highly skilled in whatever it is they're doing. So you got to be prepared for that when you move here.
Yeah, and I think a con on the sports side is how focused and how driven it is, to the point that you know, if you're not committed to, for instance, baseball, to play every season all year long, you might lose your spot on your you know, AAA team that's local, because they do play every season, and if you're not a part of every season, then it makes it harder for them to keep a team together. But it can be stressful, you know, and not allow kids to try multiple sports in that environment.
So you really do have to kind of pick one kind of at a young age.
Pretty young age.
There are advantages to it, I'd say that.
Of course.
I don't advocate that, but I think because of the system and the way it works, there are advantages to going ahead and picking your sport young.
Okay. So kind of the last con that we'll end on, which I appreciate your transparency on this. I don't think you'll find this anywhere else, but the general kind of sense of privilege and maybe a little bit of entitlement. I wouldn't say with everybody, but it's definitely present, we'll say.
There aren't many people that have hard knocks here.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody's they're not lacking the resources to have at least what they need, and a lot of the kids and families have a lot of what everybody would want. So it's hard to gain perspective sometimes, I think.
It's such a high net worth town. There's a lot of disposable income, and so with that much affluence, there are a lot of kids, families, parents that, you know, it can be a lot. But you just need to find the right people that work for your family, and it's so easy to make friends here.
It is.
And I think that's a good segue into, let's talk about the number one piece of advice that you would give to someone when, hey, the pool guy's here. So the number one piece of advice when moving to the area, do you remember what you said?
Yes, the number one advice I would have to any family or anyone moving here would be to dive in head first and get plugged in. Get your kids involved, get your family involved, find a church that fits the right, you know, for you, favorite restaurants, shopping, just dive in.
You got anything on that?
She's the boss there.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the good and the bad from 13-year residents here in Southlake. Again, if you are thinking about making a move, then you know, feel free to reach out. We'd love to help in any way that we can. And drop a comment below and let us know, you know, if you've lived in Southlake or if you currently live in Southlake. We'd love to know your thoughts. Maybe did we miss one? Did we miss a pro? Did we miss a con? You know, what do you think are the good and bad parts of living here? And drop a thank you, Scott and Tara, in the comments if you found any value from their insight here today. Guys, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. And yeah, with that being said, again, if you are thinking about making a move to Dallas, Texas, then you know, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and we've got your back when making a smooth move to Dallas, Texas. And until the next video, we'll see you around town. Boom! You guys crushed it. Come on. Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
That was fun.
That was fun.